Hi, this is James Shug with Westpac London's end of week report for Friday, March the 22nd. Look, Cyprus is very much in the news still. Depending on what time you watch this, there may have been further developments, but as things stand, the Cypriot Finance Minister failed to negotiate further support from Russia. We had the announcement today that the Greek branches of Cypriot banks would be bought by Greece. Markets actually rallied on that. It's a little bit difficult to see how that can be a solution, or even a significant part of a solution to the problem. But nevertheless, it was well received, that news. The European Central Bank, remember, has said it will cut off funding for Cypriot banks from the end of Monday, and the banks are supposed to reopen for business on Tuesday. They're currently shut, have been all week, and there's a public holiday on Monday. There's negotiations still going on between the European Central Bank, the IMF, the EU and Cypriot government representatives. The word is that some sort of deal is going to be reached. It looks like it will have to involve some sort of haircut for the depositors in Cypriot banks. There's talk that the depositors who have less than 100,000 euros will be spared, but that would require a 40% haircut for depositors with more than 100,000 euros in the Cypriot banks. Now remember, the Cypriot banking system has something like, I think it's 70 billion euros worth of deposits, and the economy is only it's less than less than 25 billion euros GDP per annum. So it's a huge banking system in relation to the size of the economy. The deposits there are seen as the only way in which the banking system can be have some sort of health restored to it, without the rest of Europe having to contribute substantially more than the 10 or 11 billion that has been agreed to so far by EU finance ministers. So it's a mess. Cypriots don't want to see their bank deposits disappear, but unfortunately for the issue is that many of the deposits in the Cypriot banking system are actually Russian in terms of where they come from. So it remains to be seen what is decided. The rest of Europe is saying, well, why should we effectively bail out the Russians who sought to avoid tax, perhaps by depositing their funds in Cyprus. Look, I'm not going to go on about that. It actually hasn't been a significant driver of markets today, despite the likelihood that it's going to all end in tears. Markets seem to have Cyprus fatigue. The other story today, the German IFO Business Climate Index posted its first fall in 5 months. I've got to say, at Westpac we did expect this, but the market was looking for a further gain. It didn't come through. Both expectations were down sharply. The current assessment was also weaker, and that followed the news earlier in the week that the ZEW analyst survey was stalling after a significant run-up over the last few months. So we've got some disappointing sentiment news. We saw, of course, the PMI surveys earlier in the week too for Europe, quite sharply weaker. We've got uncertainty in Cyprus. They're the main stories today. No US data of note, but we did have some decent earnings reports in the US from the likes of Nike and Tiffany. So corporate news in the US has been positive, and that's why the Dow, it's already 7 o'clock London, so it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. The Dow is up 0.6% today at 14,502. The FTSE in London unchanged. In fact, the French market just down 0.1%, Germany down 1/4, a similar drop in Spain, and Italy up actually 0.7% today. So as I say, equity markets don't reflect the impending doom in Cyprus. Commodities, so we've got gold down 0.5%, reversing some of its safe haven gains, and other commodities higher, like copper's up 0.9%, oil up 1.4%, looking at $93.71 a barrel for oil. Gold's at $1,606 an ounce. And the Aussie dollar's higher too, 1.045 against the US dollar. I'll leave it there for now. Keep watching this space for developments out of Cyprus, and we'll be back with more news, I'm sure, next week. Okay, speak to you then.